In 2026, We the Italians celebrates two anniversaries, One Heart, the 250th anniversary of the United States and the 80th anniversary of the Italian Republic. Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with me today as we uncover some truly incredible history.
To set the stage, this explainer is part of the Happy Birthday USA, Italy's Role in America's Greatness project, in which we share the stories of 18 great Italians who changed the history of the United States. Today, we're zeroing in on three absolute titans, Enrico Caruso, Luigi Del Bianco, and Maria Montessori. We're going to give equal weight to all three today because, honestly, their contributions are equally foundational to the American identity we know and love today.
So, here's our agenda for today. First, we'll cover Caruso, the voice. Then, Del Bianco, the stone. Third, Montessori, the mind. And we'll wrap it all up with an enduring American legacy. We've got a ton of fantastic data and history to get through, so let's jump right in.
Starting off with Section 1. Caruso, the voice, shaping the sound of America.
Enrico Caruso was born in Naples back in 1873, and, his story is the ultimate rise from modest beginnings. His dad worked in an iron foundry, his mom cleaned houses. But from those humble origins, singing in the streets and cafes, Caruso became the very first true celebrity of the mass communication age. I mean, think about his milestones. In 1902, in Milan, he became the first great bel canto singer to record his voice commercially. By doing that, he literally transformed the phonograph from a quirky office gadget into the foundation of the modern recording industry. After moving to New York in 1903, he dropped his recording of Vesti la Giubba, which became the first record ever to sell over 1 million copies. 1 million copies back then. He was such a cross-media powerhouse that by 1918, famous players Lasky, which you probably know today as Paramount, offered him a staggering $200,000 for just 2 silent films. As the saying went back then, Caruso made the record, and the record made Caruso.
Now think about the number 863 for a second. That is the astonishing number of performances Caruso delivered at the Metropolitan Opera. 863! He single-handedly transformed the Met into New York's leading opera institution, driving their repertoire from French grand opera right over to Italian opera. But that relentless workload eventually broke his health, leading to his early death in 1921. Still, he proved, without a doubt, that Caruso made New York, and New York made Caruso.
But beyond the music, Caruso held a crucially important place in the history of Italian immigration. During a time when Italians faced really heavy prejudice in the U.S., his massive success completely redefined how they were perceived. Suddenly, Italian identity was associated with absolute artistic excellence, innovation, and modernity. And he gave back, too. He quietly helped struggling immigrant families, bravely stood up to the Black Hand criminal organization, and during World War I, he worked tirelessly for the Allied effort, doing huge fundraisers for the Italian Red Cross and heavily pushing American liberty bonds.
All right, moving right along to Section 2. Del Bianco, the stone, carving an American symbol.
We're transitioning now from the booming voice of America to the silent, enduring stone of its physical monuments. Enter Luigi Del Bianco. Born into a Friulian family and raised in Meduno, he trained in Austria and Venice before coming over to the United States. And he didn't just bring his luggage. He brought this incredible wealth of European artisanal knowledge and a genius-level talent for stonework. So when the massive Mount Rushmore project was gearing up in South Dakota, they brought him on as the chief carver. His specific job? Shaping the intricate details and the defining expressions of the 4 American presidents carved into the side of that mountain.
To give you an idea of how essential he was, Gutzon Borglum, the lead sculptor of Mount Rushmore, actually said Del Bianco was the only sculptor fully capable of interpreting the language of the work. Borglum recognized that shaping those colossal faces required way more than just physical strength. It demanded immense technical mastery and profound artistic sensitivity. Honestly, Borglum literally couldn't have pulled it off without Del Bianco translating his artistic vision into monumental stone.
But here is a piece of historical injustice we really have to acknowledge. For decades, Del Bianco's immense contribution was almost completely unknown to the public. It took years of relentless historical research by his family before his role was officially recognized. In fact, it wasn't until the year 2017 that a permanent plaque was finally installed at the Mount Rushmore National Memorial to properly honor his fundamental contribution to this American icon.
So the takeaway here is that Luigi Del Bianco isn't just one man.
He represents a massive wave of thousands of Italian immigrants, especially those from Friuli Venezia Giulia, who brought a spirit of sacrifice, immense artisanal skill, and a fierce work ethic to build American infrastructure. His hands might have carved the stone of Mount Rushmore, but his story carved out a shared permanent memory that belongs to both Italy and the United States.
Which brings us to Section 3, Montessori, the Mind, Revolutionizing American Education. We've explored the voice, we've explored the stone, and now we move to monuments of the mind. Maria Montessori sparked an absolute revolution in American early childhood education, and the growth was practically exponential. After founding her first Casa dei Bambini in Rome in 1907, an American journal highlighted her holistic approach in 1909. By 1911, the very first American Children's House opened in New York. 2 years later, journalist Samuel McClure convinced her to do a U.S. lecture tour, famously calling it a journey to conquer the world. In 1915, at a huge exposition in San Francisco, she created this amazing glass room where crowds literally watched 30 children working completely independently. And skipping ahead a bit to 1967, Hilltop School in Ohio became the very first public Montessori school in the United States.
To truly understand the speed of this revolution, get this. By the time Maria Montessori returned to the United States in 1915 with her son Mario, there were already 130 children's houses operating successfully across the country. 130! American educators were just incredibly hungry for a system that actually respected a child's natural development.
And her approach didn't just attract everyday teachers, it attracted some of the most influential minds in American history. People like Alexander Graham Bell, Thomas Edison, Helen Keller, and Margaret Woodrow Wilson became her fierce advocates. The superintendent of public instruction in Washington state even declared that her method brought the seed of true freedom to the U.S. Her intense focus on liberating individuality sparked a nationwide conversation about modernizing education from the ground up.
Today, that legacy is absolutely massive. Thanks to organizations like the American Montessori Society, there are currently around 5,000 public and private Montessori schools across the United States, and that includes about 500 accredited public schools. Her models of educational excellence have even reached the highest levels of government, like back in 2010 when Clark Montessori in Ohio won a national competition and earned a commencement address from President Barack Obama. Her vision for intellectual and social growth is just permanently embedded in the American school system now.
And finally, Section 4. An enduring American legacy. 2 Anniversaries, One Heart.
When we step back and look at the big picture of all the incredible data and history we've covered today, it's pretty clear. Enrico Caruso dominated music and media, effectively creating the recording industry and shifting the cultural perception of Italians in America. Luigi Del Bianco dominated art and monuments, bringing that vital European artisanal mastery to literally give face to Mount Rushmore. And Maria Montessori dominated education, promoting independence and self-directed learning that thrives in over 5,000 U.S. schools today. The voice, the stone, and the mind. These are profound, multifaceted ways that Italian talent has permanently woven itself into the very fabric of American greatness.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. As we look at the music we hear every single day, the monuments we revere on our summer road trips, and the schools that are actively shaping our children's futures, what elements of the modern American identity are being quietly carved by global talent right now, today? History isn't just something stuck in the past. It's being built all around us by extraordinary people who might currently be standing in the shadows. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep looking for that hidden history in your everyday life, and I'll catch you next time.